Hello, HPS students, families, and staff. This is Anthony Soto, your interim superintendent. I wanted to check in with everyone and provide brief updates on some very important things that we have going on right now. One of them being the DESE guidance that we received yesterday on March 9th. So what that means for Holyoke is that by April 5th, the expectation is that we will be bringing back all K-5 in an in-person model 5 days a week. It's important to note that families still do have the option to remain remote, but what this guidance and what was written into law means is that districts can no longer only offer remote learning or hybrid model learning for it to count towards what's called student structured learning time. So the commissioner now has the authority to determine what student structured learning time counts, and they're prioritizing in-person learning. So by April 5th, we should be bringing back more of our K-5 students 5 days a week in person. Now, again, families will have the option to stay remote, but the district is moving in the direction where we want to get more students in person and get them reacclimated to in-person learning. So what we will be doing is we'll be releasing a survey, and I know that families and the HPS community overall is surveyed out. You know, we've been releasing a bunch of surveys, but I will say that there's no survey more important than this one, and I say that because it really is going to inform a lot of our planning and a lot of the work that we have to do in the next few weeks to make sure that we can bring students back safely. We're going to rely on that survey data to determine how many students we can fit in our classrooms. They'll be 3 feet apart. If there's opportunity to be more than 3 feet apart, then we will explore those opportunities, but that all depends on families filling out the surveys and us knowing how many students are going to choose to stay in person 5 days a week versus how many are going to opt into the remote model. So the grades 6 to 8, middle school grades, the plan is to do the same by April 28th. So we don't have any information on high schools. What they did say was that at the high school in April, they will let us know what their expectations are for the high school grades. I will say that a lot of planning had gone into our hybrid planning, but at the beginning of the year, we were asked to submit 3 different plans, one for full in-person, one for hybrid, and one for full remote. So we will be leveraging a lot of that planning and a lot of the lessons learned from us having students in person all year. So we've had students in person in our cohort C model, and more recently we've expanded pre-K and K and now have grades 1 and 2 in a hybrid model, and had plans on bringing back more students in a hybrid model anyway. A lot of lessons were learned throughout that process, and a lot of planning went into it. So we're going to be leveraging that planning. There's definitely a lot of things that we got to consider as we move forward for planning to introduce more students to in-person. We did have a conversation with the Board of Health. They knew this was coming, and the Board of Health has walked through every one of our buildings, has looked at all of our plans, and they're supportive of us moving forward with what the guidelines that DESE is requiring. You know, we have a pretty solid process in terms of our contact tracing, our, signage, our isolation rooms. A lot of the things that we have in place is going to allow us to do this. Next thing I wanted to talk about was the vaccine. So we have a partnership right now with the Holyoke Health Center. We've surveyed all of our staff and submitted those survey results on Monday. And our partnership with them is they're going to be running vaccination clinics We have a target date right now of about April 3rd, which is a Saturday. Many of our staff have already signed up. I will say that we can't control the supply, so we don't know if the order that Holyoke Health Center has put in on our behalf will get partially fulfilled, fully fulfilled. But what I would say is I would urge staff in HPS to, if you are interested in getting a vaccination, March 11th, you'll be able to schedule that. I was able to schedule mine yesterday. I have a vaccination scheduled for next week. So I wouldn't wait and rely on our partnership with the Holyoke Health Center. We're very appreciative, but in terms of the demand and the supply control, we don't have any control over that. So if you're a staff member that is looking to get vaccinated and filled out the survey that we had sent out last week, we will certainly provide you an update when we get that. But if you can find a dosage or get an appointment done on your own, we encourage you to do that. You can visit mass.gov, click on the COVID-19 vaccination locations and scroll down to find your appointment. And then from there, follow the steps, enter your zip code, pick a location, and schedule your appointment. So that's again on mass.gov. We encourage you to do that if you're a staff member that is planning on getting vaccinated. The last thing I want to update everyone on is the BinaxNOW testing for symptomatic individuals and for our pooled testing program. So in an effort to prevent the spread of COVID-19, we partnered with the state on a pooled testing program that they have for students and staff that are in person at schools. So these tests will be performed weekly. It's a short nasal swab for students and staff that are participating members, and we get results within 24 to 48 hours. So if the pooled test result is negative, then all the individuals in that pool are considered negative. But if there is a positive result, then every individual must be retested using the Abbott BinaxNOW Rapid Antigen Diagnostic Test. This test will be performed by the school nurse, and then we'll be able to isolate who in the pool was positive, and it'll allow us to just react a lot quicker than we would without this proactive testing. So one of the most important things is to get parent or guardian permission. So if you haven't received the link from your school already, you will be getting one. It'll be in the Holyoke update this weekend as well. But each school individually is reaching out to their families and getting them the link to the Project Beacon website. It's translated both in English and in Spanish. What you're granting permission is for your child to be a part of the regular test, the pool testing program, and you're granting permission for the Abbott BinaxNOW Rapid test that would be performed if your child becomes symptomatic and displays symptoms of COVID-19. So we really hope that many families receive this and many families sign up through the Project Beacon website, and that will allow us to have these proactive measures in place to stop community spread in our schools. So I know that was a lot of information, but we really appreciate all of you, all the HPS staff, all of the families, all of the students. Really excited to have you back. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can email the superintendent at hps.holyoke.ma.us. I'd love to know what is on folks' minds, and if we do some short videos like this and provide updates, what the community wants to hear. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you all. We love you, and we can't wait to see more of our students.